Again, good morning, everyone. My name is Miss Merilyn Gamarcha. I am graduated from Philippine Normal University, Manila. So here are my picture of the school of PCU. So my title of my research is School-Based Feeding Program, SBFP, in the Indigent Learners, Participation Towards an Enhanced Feeding Program. So background and objectives of the study. Good nutrition helps learners show up to school and prepared, eager to learn. But in the Philippines, malnutrition among school-aged children is one of the major problems that greatly affect their performance in school. For that reason, the Department of Education has institutionalized the School-Based Feeding Program, SBFP, under the DepEd Order Number 37 Series of 2014, which aims to address hunger, contribute to nutritional status, improve school performance and learning outcomes, and increase the cognitive function and academic performance of the learners. Therefore, the researchers investigated the following. Number one, extent of implementation of the school-based feeding program during the first quarter of school year 2023-2024 as assessed by the respondents in terms of addressing hunger and encouraging learners. 1.2, contributing to the improvement of nutritional status. 1.3, providing nourishment for their growth and development. And 1.4, boosting their immune system. Number 2, status of learners before and after the implementation of the school-based feeding program during the first quarter of the school year 2023-2024 in terms of school attendance and nutritional status. Number 3, significant relationship between the extent of implementation of the school-based feeding program and the school attendance of learners during the first quarter of the school year 2023-2024. Significant relationship between the extent of implementation of school-based feeding program and nutritional status of learners during the first quarter of the school year 2023-2024. Based on the results of the study, what enhanced feeding program can be developed? The framework and theoretical underpinnings. The school feeding program is SFP helps children pay more attention and concrete while also boosting their access to better nourishment and decreasing short-term hunger, which is a significant contributor to the decline of a child's cognitive performance. There is a clear correlation between children's and health and nutrition and academic achievement. According to several renowned academic research and literature, this theory is supported by a variety of theoretical viewpoints that address the relationship between nutrition and changes of behavior. As a cited motivational theory by Abraham Maslow's motivation has the following functions: motivates, energizes, and sustains behavior. It energizes the behavior of the organisms and arouses for them for action. It also sustains behavior for longer periods in the activity. In Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the physiological needs must be met. Children need food in the right quality and quantity. Food is necessary because it builds, protects, and repairs development, have tremendous implications on child's performance. Poorly fed children are more exposed to disease. The researcher utilized the total enumeration and purposive sampling method since the respondents have already been identified based on their nutritional status. Thus, all the parents of the 115 SBFE beneficiaries where the respondent is made questionnaire was crafted to identify the extent of implementation of the school-based feeding program as assessed by the respondents. To test its validity, it was piloted at a nearby school and have passed the reliability test and 0.73 Cronbach alpha measure of internal consistency. On the other hand, data on the respondent school attendance during the first quarter of school year 2023-2024 were derived from the school attendance record SF2 and nutrition status report SF8 that came from their advisor. Gathering procedure, the survey questionnaire went through validations by experts and administration was approved by the school head. Informed consent from the respondents was also secured. On the other hand, data on the beneficiaries' nutritional status and school attendance were requested from their class advisors. Statistical treatment of data. Descriptive inferential statistics were utilized in interpreting the collected data. Specifically, the baseline data gathered went through a test of normality using Shapiro-Wilk test. Since the total population is 115, which is less than 2,000, the results show that P is equals to 0.0, meaning that it is significant, which suggests that the data is not normal. Specifically, the statistical tools used in this study are the following: frequency and percentage distribution. This was used to analyze the status of learners before and after the implementation of the school-based feeding program during the first quarter of the school year 2023-2024 in terms of school attendance and nutritional status. Average weighted mean. This was used to identify the extent of the school-based feeding program during the first quarter of the school year 2023-2024 as assessed by the respondents. Wilcoxon rank sum test. This was used to measure the significant difference in attendance and nutritional status before and after the implementation of SBFP. Spearman correlation. This was utilized to measure the significant relationship between the extent of SBFP implementation and school attendance and the nutritional status of learners beneficiaries. Results and discussions. The data gathered were presented and analyzed through tables. For number 1, extent of implementation of school-based feeding program during the first quarter of school year assessed by the respondents. So sa table 1.1, extent of the school-based feeding program during the first quarter of the school year 2023-2024 in terms of addressing hunger and encouraging learners. So it showed that the result of the first factor is on the extent of SBFE implementation, which is addressing hunger and encouraging learner, the total weighted mean of the implementation of the highest extent, which means that the respondents have a positive attitude toward a mentioned indicators under dimension. For the table 1.2, the extent of school-based feeding program is during the first quarter of the school year 2023-2024 in terms of contributing to the improvement of nutritional status. So the improving of the beneficiaries' nutritional status is one of the main objectives of SBFE. Hence, the perception of the parents on the matter was also determined. The total weighted mean for this second dimension is 4.23, which is compliant with the highest extent for contributing to the child's nutrition. Then the table 1.3, extent of the school-based feeding program during the first quarter of the school year 2023-2024 in terms of providing nourishment for their growth and development. With an overall mean of 4.05, SBFE implementation has a high extent in terms of providing nourishment for the beneficiaries' growth and development. Then for 1.4, extent of school-based feeding program during the first quarter of school year 2023-2024 in terms of boosting their immune system, the overall total of weighted mean is 4.24, which shows that the SBFE implementation has the highest extent in terms of boosting the child's immune system. This provides the claim of Abraham Maslow that a well-fed child is not easily exposed to any disease or sickness. Thus, they will have a strong immune system. Then, for the summary of the table, 1.5 shows that summary of the extent of SBFE implementation as assessed by the respondents in terms of addressing hunger and encouraging learners, contributing to the improvement of nutritional status, providing nourishment for growth and development, and boosting of the immune system, specifically addressing hunger and encouraging learners, contributing to the improvement of nutritional status, and boosting the immune system have a verbal interpretation of the highest extent, which means scores of 4.28 to 4.23 and 4.24 and have a standard deviation of 0.54 or 0.58 and 0.49 respectively. Meanwhile, providing nourishment for their growth and development has a verbal interpretation with a high extent with a mean score of 4.05 and a standard deviation of 4.6. So for the table 2.1, okay, this is the evidence of the attendance of SBFP before and after the implementation of the during the first quarter of school year 2023-2024, with together with the daily attendance of the learner, or what we call SF2. Then the table 2.2 shows above the difference of the nutritional status of SBFE beneficiaries before and after SBFE implementation during the first quarter of the school year 2023-2024, showing there was a marked decrease in the severely wasted from 38 to 33.04% to 27 to 23.45%, while wasted respondents from 77 to 66.96% to 83, 72.17%, and 4.35% respondents were rehabilitated normal. So significant relationship between the extent of implementation of the school-based feeding program of the school attendance of learning during the first quarter of the school year 2023-2024 to determine if there is a significant relationship between the extent of SBFE implementation and school attendance of learners. The researcher used the Spearman correlation coefficient test analysis, which is a non-parametric test. Since the distribution of the data is not normal, the result is presented in table 3. As shown in table 3, the result of the Spearman's rho correlation coefficient test 0.002 with a p-value of 0.984 reveals that there is no significant relationship between the of implementation of the school-based feeding program and the school attendance of learners beneficiaries during the first quarter of the school year 2023-2024. For the number 4, significant relationship of the SBFP nutritional status of learner during the first quarter of the school year 2023 to 2024 to determine if there is a significant relationship between the extent of SBFP implementation and the nutritional status of learners. The researcher used a Spearman correlation coefficient test also to analysis, which is a non-parametric test, since the distribution of the data also is not normal. So the result is presented in the table 4. The result of Spearman correlation coefficient test 0.032, which a p-value of 0.731 reveals that there is no significant relationship between the extent of implementation of the school-based feeding program and the nutritional status of learners beneficiaries during the first quarter of the school year 2023-2024. Okay, so the impact and outcomes of this study, the main purpose of this study was to investigate the extent of the implementation of the school-based feeding program for the first quarter of school year 2023-2024, assessed by the respondent to the learner's nutritional status of attendance. In the following are the findings. Then extent of implementation of school-based feeding program during the first quarter of school year 2023-2024 as assessed by the respondents in terms of addressing hunger, encouraging learners, contributing to the improvement of nutritional status, then providing nourishment for their growth and development, and boosting their immune system. So the data shows that the respondents have a positive attitude toward the implementation of the SBFP. In C indicator has a descriptive rating of strongly ugly and ugly respectively. The overall mean is 4.2 with a descriptive rating of strongly ugly. So based on the result of the respondents have a positive attitude toward the SBFP implementation at Victoriano Luciano Elementary School, they strongly agreed that the nutritional food packs provided were able to address their child's short-term hunger and also encourage them to go to school. It contributes to improvement of their nutritional status. It provides nourishment for their growth and development, and it boosts their immune system. It just provides a proof that the claim of Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which demonstrate that when needs are fulfilled, pupils are generally happy and contented. It will also encourage good health, high motivation, participation, and attention in class, and will reduce hunger. So SBFM implementation during the first quarter has a positive impact on the school attendance and nutritional status of the learners before. Therefore, this kind of program should continue to alleviate absenteeism and malnutrition among young children. Based on the result of there is a need to be accept the H01. There is no significant relationship between extent of SBP implementation and as assessed by the parents and school attendance of the learners, which means that the increase in the percentage of learner participation could be a result of these factors and bold. So for the recommendation, so sustained implementation of school-based feeding program for this created greater impact in their lives of their learners as well as to their parents. Number 2, increase in rehabilitating severely wasted to wasted and normal nutritional status and ensuring 81 to 100% classroom attendance to the beneficiaries must sustain. Then for number 3, intensified monitoring of the program must be implemented to facilitate successful and transparent implementation of the program. Then 4, utilize and develop enhanced feeding program in school. Then last, conduct further research related to the topic being studied to amplify the findings of the study so that the generalization of a wider scope and application can be formulated. So here, my references. Thank you very much.